What's up guys? Welcome to AnimeKouhai. If you'd like to help me out, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel.
Dimensional Slash.
Shockwaves emitted from Tishorn's arms, extending as slicing edges that shredded everything in their path. The effect of the slash even reached into the dimensional realm, and although the dimensional slash was quickly healed by the world's restorative power, anything on the surface that was hit by it couldn't withstand the force. Even Obera wasn't exempt from this. She could see through the attack with ease and avoided falling victim to it, yet she acknowledged the threat Tishorn posed. Partly because of this, Obera was acting cautiously, though she wasn't certain if this cautious approach was beneficial or not at this point.
Dimensional Slash.
Another shockwave was unleashed by Tishorn, slicing through the air. Obera dodged it with ease, but her impatience was beginning to grow.
You're like a mindless one-trick pony, repeating attacks that won't work.
Haha, you raise an interesting point, but it's up to me, not you, to decide whether it works or not.
Tishorn's response was logical. No one would be foolish enough to trust an enemy's words. If she believed it wasn't working, she would have stopped long ago. Tishorn kept repeating the same attack because she believed it would eventually succeed. And that was precisely what irritated Obera. She had tried to deter Tishorn by suggesting her efforts were futile. When that failed, Obera reassessed Tishorn.
You really know how to fight, always choosing the optimal action without hesitation. Winning would be easy, but neutralizing her without killing her is a challenge, even for me.
Obera had already figured out Tishorn's abilities. The gap in power between them was vast, and Obera knew without a doubt that Tishorn was weaker. But this was only true if she hadn't been injured in her battle with Michael. Obera's wounds had healed, and she was in good physical shape. However, her energy levels hadn't fully recovered, and the situation was far from ideal. Otherwise, she would have neutralized Tishorn by now. The fact that she hadn't done so was the reason for her current predicament. Even so, there was no more time to waste.
Your Honor, shine your light upon us.
Tishorn called out, and in that instant, her combat abilities surged. Like Insect General Cyril, she had triggered overdrive, but there was one key difference. Tishorn had full control over her overdrive, making effective use of its time limit.
Dimensional Slash. Final Dance.
This was an attack unlike anything that had come before. A breathtaking display unfolded, with over 10,000 dimensional slashes ripping through the air, creating a space where no living being could hope to escape the devastation. Obera, however, didn't flee, she simply stood her ground, unwavering. No, that wasn't it. Obera had decided to abandon the idea of restraining Tishorn and resolved to unleash her full power.
Divinity Release.
Obera murmured calmly. This was Obera's signal to unleash her full strength. The mythical grade armor she wore regained its celestial glow. With the circulation of Obera's magicules fully restored, her equipment returned to peak performance. In her hand now was a massive double-edged sword. This was the Beast Slayer. Obera's beloved longsword had transformed into its ultimate form. Against cryptids, her sworn enemies, Obera had always rejected the notion of holding back. Had she been lenient, the destruction would have only continued to escalate. Obera had always strived to eliminate cryptids with the utmost efficiency. Thus, when Obera chose to fight, it was with the intent to obliterate her foes, disregarding any collateral damage. Now, her true strength, with an existence value exceeding 20 million, was about to be revealed.
Haha, it's too late to get serious now.
As Tishorn mocked, Obera was already trapped within the death zone. With Tishorn's interference blocking spatial transportation, there seemed no escape from the relentless slashes. That's how it should have been. But the reality was,
This attack is nothing more than child's play.
Indeed, the dimensional slash tore open the fabric of space. However, just as the space mended itself, so too did Obera's body return to its original form.
It can't be.
My body is connected not only to the material world but also to the spiritual realm. This is insignificant.
Obera explained with calm indifference, her magicule swelling as if to signal that her turn had come. The Beast Slayer began to glow intensely. Seeing that ominous light, Tishorn felt emotions she had never known before.
My body is shaking. Could it be? Could it be that I am feeling fear? Is this what it means to be scared?
She realized this, but it was already too late. There was nothing Tishorn could do.
O Vanishing One, may you scatter beautifully. Planetus Bombardment.
A colossal slash rained down mercilessly from the heavens, delivering a death that was both unyielding and impartial. Tishorn, caught in the blast, disintegrated into dust, unable to display even a shred of the dignity of a once formidable adversary. Geld was locked in a fierce struggle. His adversary was Insect General Mujika, a formidable warrior insectar, draped in a vividly colored armor and wielding a two-handed sword. Mujika's strength was a match for Geld's. Neither side was willing to give ground. Their subordinates were equally engaged in a relentless back-and-forth battle. The yellow numbers and orange numbers held firm, maintaining an impenetrable line of defense against Mujika's swarm of enormous centipedes, each over 30 meters long. Due to their massive size, teams were formed to take on each centipede individually. Whenever injuries occurred, they would treat themselves with restorative medicine. When fatigue set in, fresh troops would replace those on the front lines, ensuring they didn't overexert themselves. This seamless rotation was a result of rigorous training. As a result, even after hours of combat, the battle remained in deadlock. The most significant clash, however, was the duel between Geld and Mujika. Mujika's mastery of his longsword was so refined that it could rival that of a top-tier martial artist. His level of skill was so advanced that it seemed unlikely he developed it alone. Perhaps he was a reincarnated being from another world, but that was of no concern. What mattered was that Mujika was a fierce and worthy opponent. Geld blocked Mujika's sword with his large shield. This shield, like Geld himself, had evolved to mythical grade status, essentially becoming an extension of his body. It shared properties with the exoskeleton of an insectar, allowing it to repair any minor damage instantly. The air trembled from the impact, plasma scattering, yet Geld remained composed. In response, he swung his meat cleaver at Mujika. But Mujika was no easy target. He anticipated the attack and deftly deflected it with his sword. In the same instant, countless legs emerged from the gaps in his armor, launching a rapid barrage aimed at piercing through Geld. Geld, seemingly on the brink of danger, retaliated with a Demon Lord Haki counterstrike. His Haki, combined with the corrosion effect of the ultimate gift, Gourmet King Beelzebub Chaos Eater, gnawed at Mujika's legs with unpredictable, almost sentient movements. But Mujika's legs were not so easily subdued, shrouded in a malevolent Yuki that nullified Geld's Chaos Eater. These intense exchanges continued, neither side gaining a decisive advantage. However, the battle suddenly reached an unexpected conclusion.
Even Tishorn is gone! I am surprised! I didn't expect the defenders here to be this strong, but His Grace's preparations are now complete. Not that it matters to you. It's been a while since I have faced a warrior who could challenge me like this. I would have liked to continue, but the time has come.
Mujika spoke casually as he distanced himself from Geld. Then, gathering the remaining insectars, he signaled a retreat. Even as Mujika withdrew, Geld remained cautious. But then, something else caught his attention.
There's something odd about the battlefield's atmosphere. Could this deep sense of dread be a sign of what's to come?
It was an overwhelming sense of danger that made him question why he hadn't noticed it sooner. Geld looked up at the sky. Dark clouds were swirling ominously, and he felt certain something was about to manifest.
All hands, stay on full alert.
At Geld's command, even those receiving treatment sprang into action. His uncharacteristically grim tone left no doubt this battle was far from over. Once Phobia was saved, Gobua quickly took charge of re-establishing the front line. Thanks to Benimaru's mentorship, Gobua had evolved into a top-tier commander. Through extensive combat training in the labyrinth, she had honed her skills in all sorts of brutal tactics, making her far more seasoned than any strategist. The 300 Kurenai members under Gobua's leadership were also battle-hardened veterans who had grown alongside him. They didn't need direct orders from him to take the most effective actions. Though they were few, their presence significantly improved the situation. Moreover, the presence or absence of a skilled leader alone could sway the tide of battle. With Phobio back on the front lines and leading the charge, the Winged Beast Knights regained their strength. Thus, Milam's forces gradually began to dominate the battlefield, but amidst this momentum, Gobta was fighting for his life. His opponent, Peliod, was an incredibly dangerous foe. Her poisonous mist was so lethal that even Gobta, with his high poison resistance, was at risk. This wasn't just a poison that killed if inhaled, it melted skin and burned flesh on contact. Even the slightest exposure caused intense pain. Realizing the threat of the poisonous mist, Gobta thought,
"Wait a sec, this is really bad. If this keeps up, I'm done for."
He reached this conclusion less than 30 seconds into the fight. So, without wasting any time, he called on Ranga, who had rushed in to help, and they decided to use their secret technique.
Magic Wolf Unification.
Without delay, they merged as soon as the battle began. This fusion transformed Gobta and Ranga into a fearsome two-horned humanoid black wolf. It was the right move. Had they hesitated even a moment longer, both Gobta and Ranga would have been dead.
Alright, let's do this.
Gobta, you can unleash all of my power.
At first, the two were pumped up, but that excitement quickly faded. The reason was clear: Peliod was too powerful. Merging with Ranga didn't drastically increase their combat strength. The fusion of Ranga's latent power with Gobta's combat instincts only made them slightly stronger than their individual abilities combined. In other words, since Gobta's existence value wasn't that high, the overall situation didn't change much in terms of power. On the other hand, Peliod was a terrifying opponent. Her existence value was 6.8 million, more than 15 times greater than the combined value of Gobta and Ranga, and she was second only to Zess in power. Moreover, she was a master of space-type abilities and could even deflect Carrera's Abyss Annihilation. Despite their secret technique, she was clearly the superior being. The reason they hadn't been defeated outright was that Gobta and Ranga excelled in close-quarters combat, while Peliod's strength lay in mid-range and long-range magical attacks. Thus, from the outset of the battle until now, Gobta had been in a constant state of tension, with no opportunity to relax. They managed to hold their own, largely because they could just barely maintain their advantageous position. But that edge was slipping away as Peliod's power seemed to increase.
Gobta, have you noticed?
This isn't good, Ranga-san. She's definitely getting stronger, isn't she?
Gobta and Ranga couldn't help but worry about Peliod's current state as they faced her. Compared to the start of the fight, it was clear her power had grown. She was steadily adapting to their movements with increasing precision. Their feints were no longer effective, and they were starting to lose momentum in their attacks. Peliod's relentless strikes were beginning to find their mark on Gobta, though they hadn't been entirely pushed back yet.
A big thanks to the AnimeKouhai patrons who made this video possible: Jared Bressler, Havox, Speed Saber, Curtis Loban, Judah Herrera, Just a Guy, Miss L.W. Hernandez, Jason Martin, Zach Rosen, Jerry Sladek, Ray Perez, Jay, Donald Williams, Moab A, Day of Light, John M, Godman Gaming, Markithian Tidwell, Adrian, Kumo, Sanketh Chelu, T. Bush, JV, Thomas, Christ, Joshua Cousins, Jose Hernandez, Khalid, Christian Deshazer, Divine C. Harris, Montyboy98, Ruben, Yuki Iki, Gray, Kemal Ebanks, Isaac, Koala King 93, Quilly Buckner, Alver, Normal Defate, Vicente Baharias, Joshua Andrade, L, Gary Miles, Dragon Spawn 666, J. Rule, Leiron Sangkap, Lucas Guet, Jason Martin, Ekotski, Sky T, Diego Ginoza, Andre Hamilton, Martin Ramos, Guy Ensley, Simon Rode, Emperor WSA, Miko Espinosa, George Hage, Pratik Bandari, Jackson Early, Smexy, Carl Stephen Bernadal, Gareth Hashimoto, Steven Madison, Vasto Lord, Marl Barsha, Ralph Ignacio, Efrain Hernandez, William Locke, Kamal Luke, Spencer Candila, Ian Sikibiol, Thanacorn Lee Sawat, KACP9R, The Harv, Drayden Yamauchi, Alex Buthanu, Nathaniel Johnson, Michael Brinkley, Elijah Pierre, Michael Stern. Thank you so much for helping out. I'll see you guys in the next video.